I'm Rich Noonan for World Business Watch, a program in which we look at companies that are changing our world. Today we visit Cedar Rapids, Iowa to show you one of America's top credit unions. The moment you walk into First Federal in downtown Cedar Rapids, or this very cool branch in nearby Hiawatha, you can tell this place ain't your grandma's credit union. Perhaps it's the awesome light fixtures, or Sally, the president's black lab, sitting in a chair, waiting to take an important meeting. Or the president himself sitting in the lobby talking about the news of the day. You see, at First Federal, different is a very good thing. When it comes to the numbers, this credit union consistently ranks among the top in the country for its financial standing. One of the big reasons for that is the culture at First Federal. There's nothing stodgy about this place, and that starts with the credit union's leadership. President and CEO Tim Byers has been here 27 years, and this place is a lot like Tim. Very creative, very open to new ideas, and not really big on rules.
I love freedom. I'm a 60s kid growing up, so I don't like authority. I like to break the rules or push them, and I like people to be free. My dog doesn't wear a leash. I like to retain people or bring people in by bringing them in or attracting them as opposed to holding them in and a wall around them, that you owe us, a loyalty to us or something. The loyalty only goes as deep as our loyalty to provide great service, great products, etc., etc.
See what I mean? Tim is the most honest banker I've ever met. He tells it like it is. Listen to this.
I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to work at a bank where they try to pretend like, well, this is their money coming out of their pocket. We make lots of money off people that we lend money to, and we're very appreciative of it.
As you can tell, Tim is hardly a traditional credit union president, and neither is his team. If you aren't smart, creative, positive, you probably won't be working at First Federal, and that is really critical to the owners of the credit union, its membership. Many of them are still recovering from the most devastating flood in U.S. history in this part of the country. It wiped out much of Cedar Rapids in 2008. First Federal was the first business to reopen in the flood zone because Tim and his team knew that people needed them. Marcia Carell is the commercial lending officer at First Federal. She says this credit union is so different from a traditional bank in so many ways.
In banking, it's all about selling a product, but I've never, ever felt like I should be selling anything. It's not about selling a product. It's about uncovering a need and filling a need. That's what it is.
Many of those people have come to First Federal through Cedar Rapids developer Randy Dostal. Dostal owns Thomas Dostal Development. His company has built scores of homes around Cedar Rapids. And Randy loves dealing with First Federal because he can walk into the place, sit down, and speak with a real person who genuinely cares about making Randy's business even more successful.
First Federal is an institution that we can go into, and we know that when they say that the product will be built and it will be financed, that we can depend on their financing. And more importantly, probably than the financing, is the creativity in which we use the financing. They're always there to save us or our clients money, and that creativity goes a long ways.
Embracing change and creativity are not qualities usually associated with lending institutions. But First Federal is a true innovator when it comes to finding ways to help people and still make money. Remember, this is one of the most financially sound credit unions in America. I asked Marcia to pin down the biggest difference between First Federal and those big banks that so many people are fleeing.
I would say flexibility is probably the number one thing that we offer is flexibility. We don't have, we have our standard products, but if you need something tweaked, if you need a loan tweaked, we can do that for you. We can create something that works for you.
Where does that come from? Well, any top organization takes on the personality of its leader. I couldn't help but notice this group of photos in Tim's office. It is shots of Tim with each team member, which he affectionately calls all of his children. People like working at First Federal because they know they are valued.
I believe that you can raise all ships by freedom of people, letting people do their own thing, let them be themselves, like you yourself, or everybody really wants to, I don't think, go along and sheep, and they want to be a part of something and know that they're a part of something, and we do that with our people.
Obviously, First Federal does lots of car, home equity, and personal loans. First Federal does very creative mortgage and business financing as well. But most importantly, First Federal could teach a lot of others in this business about the most important rule. Listen to the customers, in this case the members, and help them succeed. If you live in this part of America, you are lucky to have First Federal here. Become a member. It's very easy. Go to the website for details, or better yet, walk into one of the First Federal locations and say hi. You will always find a friendly face at First Federal. First Federal Credit Union, just think about it. For World Business Watch, I'm Rich Noonan. We'll see you next time.